cleaning discs and consoles and stuff. It makes you kind of lose interest in when people are in other things. So I feel that too. So yeah, those are most of the like kind of weird questions, but kind of more into the open-ended stuff. So I know from watching their videos, it seems like they have like a cleaning department, sell your games department, social media department. Do you know all the departments are, and you have like, can you describe how that works?
So it was social media, then there's the shipping, which is also like cleaning. So it's kind of like now there is kind of now, I think it's separated, where it was kind of together, where it was also like shipping. You basically would clean the stuff, put it on a table, and then you would pack it at the same time. Then like you'd have like a bin to put all your stuff in. They would take it, put it into I forget what they called those carts, but the big like mailroom type carts that once the delivery trucks come to, we would pack that up. There's that the sell your games, which is basically I want to say it's together with eBay in a way too, because I know that they run their own eBay shop as well, and that's one big thing to that. And then there was the repairs department and social media.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think a lot of people know this, but it was kind of funny one day when, I think it was last year sometime, I was shipping out my eBay orders, and I noticed I had an order from Morgantown, Pennsylvania. I was like, I recognize that city from somewhere. I looked up the address. I was like, oh, this is DK Oldies. They're buying. Yeah. It was like some random game. I guess they're running low on inventory for, I guess, and they're going to put it on their site. I just thought that was kind of funny. I think I've sold like 2 or 3 things to them over time. But,
that is like one of the big processes. Is if like I think because there is an inventory team too, and I think that's something that happens is if something just slips through the cracks, it's missing off of that wall, where if per se somebody in customer service was to replace that disc that, oh hey, my disc got scratched, cool, we'll send you another one. They might not have gotten done properly for inventory, and then that disc is missing and somebody orders it off the website, then usually that they would try and find that game to replace it for the inventory. Gotcha. The person who had ordered that game if we don't have it.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. And I know you were telling me earlier that you worked in most of the departments, I think. Which all departments did you work in?
Pretty much, I would say I touched on a little bit of everything. I would say like mainly when I started it was like shipping, but I did get a chance to try out a little bit of everything. It's an interesting experience trying everything at a job. I don't think many people can say that they've done pretty much tried every position out at least once. But I think it definitely opens my eye up to the whole perspective of the business and how it runs, and that really is it's a little bit more insightful of what's going on.
Yeah, makes sense. Was there one position you liked the most?
I would say trying out stuff like social media was fun. Obviously, that's always going to be fun, just getting to make videos or any like type of photos, stuff like that. But I think shipping is a really fun one just because of how simple it is. Cleaning, just picking up orders, cleaning them, and then packing them is very fun. I enjoyed doing that. Again, as somebody that is a collector, which can be, this might be something that you might touch on a little later as well, but I think that's a main problem, is that as somebody that is really into video games and collecting, I made sure on certain orders that, oh, well, I noticed this looks off, or this something seems up that I should replace it, or I would always try to find original chords for stuff, even though we do have like the third-party stuff kind of set to the side.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that people that work there that might not necessarily have as much detail or attention into video games might not really care about that, which it's not a big deal, but I think for the people that buy it, it becomes a big deal to them because it is something that they are buying for a collection.
Yeah, because I know, I'm guessing you've probably seen some of my videos where I buy stuff from DK Oldies and do the unboxings and
yes.
stuff. And yeah, so I guess one of the problems I've had is that the website is not super clear on what you're getting for some listings. Like I've seen some, like I haven't ordered like an N64 NES, but I know on those listings you can specifically request like an original NES controller or whatever.
Yes.
I don't see anywhere for like I haven't seen anything about selecting original ports, but I know on some of the listings I've bought from, they don't give you the option of selecting an original controller, and it's not super clear if you get like an original controller or not, because the photo will show like an OEM one, and then the description says compatible, and I know that's one of the things that I guess in general that's been my frustration, is that it's just not the website isn't like super clear on what you're getting. So it's I'm guessing the reason that hasn't come out, maybe it has come up in the past, but I guess the reason I haven't heard about it in the past is because I'm assuming the majority of the consumers that are buying from them don't know the difference between like I don't know, or at least a lot of them don't know the difference between a third-party controller and a OEM, or I don't know if you have any insights into that. And
so I remember what we would tell people, because especially like over the phone stuff, telling people that if they were a collector that was really concerned about that, and they called in and were like, hey, or even emailed and said, hey, I want to make sure this has original cords, or even in like a replacement, because that would happen. Somebody would get like those third-party cables, and then they would get upset because they're like, well, this isn't working with third-party cables. We'd say, hey, we'll replace you, free of charge, replace with the original cables. And that, I think that's another thing too, is it's all based on what we have. Usually we try to make sure people would put in like the little notes section, which I know a lot of people now use for like the TikTok stuff. We would always be like, right in there, so that somebody knows, because it is all different departments. There isn't a lot of like communication on that. So it isn't like unless I walk up to a person and say, hey, this order needs to have original cables, that might not happen. So usually using that notes filter would help, because there is a supervisor in that shipping department that has to kind of look at the order to make sure everything was done correctly before it even gets shipped out. I think that's a big thing. I know the controller thing is kind of, again, based on if we have it available, but I think the genuine idea of that is that they want you to pay more for that original controller, because they know that you want an original controller. Whereas the cables, I don't want to say the cables are cheap, but I think that like the AV cables and stuff, AC cables are pretty common enough that they're kind of a cheap item. So it's not the end of the world. But controllers, they do understand that there is kind of like a commodity to that.
Yeah. I guess the one I know most of, let's see, I'm trying to think of how many I've bought. I bought a couple of 360s. Those had third-party controllers. The one that I thought was the most concerning was the backwards compatible PS3 that I bought that had a third-party controller, but third-party controllers are not compatible with PS2 games on the PS3. Which that was a big concern. I don't know how many people actually buy backwards compatible PS3s from DK Oldies, but that was, and kind of I actually have another video coming out tomorrow, because we asked DK Oldies for a replacement for I don't know if you saw the dirty PS3 from a few weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
And I have another video coming out of the replacement they sent me for that, and they didn't send another controller, which is a controller, but still disappointed that one just doesn't even work on PS2 on PS2 games, where it's like the other ones are like they're fully compatible. This one though is just like it doesn't even work on the PS2 games on the PS3, which is disappointing.
That is touching back on what I said about the just kind of replacing the stuff. I will tell you 100%. I hate the 360 and like PS2 or PS3 third-party controllers. I know that they're just not good controllers, so I would go out of my way to go through. You may have seen in like their videos, they have those like walls of just like boxes full of the controllers and stuff. I would go out of my way to grab try to put that third-party thing back and grab an original, because I just knew that it's not, because I don't think they had an option for like third-party and original for like 360 for a while, but I don't know if they've changed that in recent time. So I think that was where I would replace the controller.
Okay. Yeah, and I know the ones I've purchased from, I bought from a couple different 360 listings, and then like a couple different PS3 listings, and none of those had options for upgrading to an OEM controller. So it was kind of I guess a gamble as to if you get a third party or OEM. But the ones I've gotten have been 30 party. The 360 one looks almost just like a real one.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't have the X in the middle. But so that's one of my biggest gripes is that I think the website listings are just not super clear, at least the ones I've purchased from. And I guess that leads into the big question that everybody's wondering: what's the refurbishment process like from your experience?
So this is an interesting one, I will say, because I know where people would have contacted and been like, hey, this is something that I got, it's not working. I think the biggest example that I can remember is the 72 pin connectors for the NES. I know that they replaced them at DK Oldies, and I know that's a thing that you got to communicate. So I think that it's very much something where nobody's communicating to a certain department, maybe, or just, I don't want to say that they don't care, because I know that there are people there that do care about this stuff and care about what's going out, because they know stuff like this where people are making videos on it. It's not I don't think it's a thing where they're like, well, if this is getting press is press. I don't think that's the situation. I think the refurbishment process, as much as I don't want to say I've seen anything of it, but I don't want to say I've seen everything. I know that the cleaning process is a big thing, but I know that when we would do this, it would always be kind of trying to get it to the repairs department, but it would have to be when somebody that was able to repair said system was there, and not all the time is somebody there to repair it. So then you're waiting for that person, you're waiting for this, you're waiting for communication back. So I think, again, coming back to it, it's just communication issues. So I think if they can figure out a way to get those communication issues fixed, I think probably a lot more refurbishing stuff will get done better, maybe. But again, that's all just kind of where it comes back to is communication.
Yeah, and I know that was what I was thinking about yesterday. I was like, I can't imagine the communication is very good, because I've seen there's the differences between people send me screenshots all the time of different things that people from DK Oldies are saying online, and somebody will respond to one comment one way, and then they'll post a video that's completely different, and it's kind of just the communication is just not there, because they just, I guess, yeah, like you said, it just seems like the communication is not there, because I'll see controversial statements from them on different things within days of each other. And I guess what I've seen is that consoles are not actually opened up to be cleaned unless they have something to be repaired. Is that what you saw when you were there? Because I think I
would say yes, because this is another thing too where it comes back to that the cleaning department is if they don't really see that dust kind of caked inside of the vents or anything, they're not going to look at it. When I was there, I always would if you heard a rattle or anything, you were supposed to obviously open it up and get that out of there. So you should see any dust or anything that's just wrong there. I don't know if that's changed, if it's just kind of to keep processes going because of how many orders they're getting or stuff like that. But it seems like it's one of those things where I remember personally just being okay, this seems like it needs blown out, and they don't in that cleaning department have a dust gun or anything like that, so they can't just dust gun it. But the repairs department would have the tools to do that kind of stuff. So I do think that's another thing that just when I remember being there, if people didn't notice it was an issue, they just kind of went on as long as the outside looked clean. So I will say, I guess, yeah, as long as there wasn't an issue, or as long as there isn't anything that looks noticeable, it's going out the door.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense as to what I've seen. I think the problem I've had and that people have had with that is the fact that I guess they're posting videos online of we open up and clean every console, and they've made recently replies to people that people ask if they open up and clean every console, not just the ones that are repaired, and they'll respond back and say yes, we open and clean every console. So I don't know if their policy has changed, but I will say that after they started commenting that, I got this PS3 they sent me, the replacement one. That one wasn't open and cleaned either, so it's just I think that I know from the comments I've seen and the videos I've seen, I think that's the biggest gripe is that they're advertising consoles being open, clean, refurbished, but only the ones with with problems are actually getting opened and cleaned. So, like, most of the ones, if you can get a lot of dust out with, obviously blowing compressed air in it, whatever. But I know in the PS3 I just got, there was like, it was pretty clean, except for the fact once you get down to the CPU and GPU, it was like caked in dust, and which is obviously the most important component on a PS3, and especially compatible. So I know that's been my gripe, and I think that's been the whole controversy for the last couple of months, is that people are just figuring out that I guess the videos being made about cleaning and refurbishing all the consoles is not actually happening to all the consoles except the ones that are actually broken or get on camera or whatever.